20 months ago, COVID set off a series of hard choices that each of us had to take to make varying degrees in our individual, family, and work lives. And as most of us have retreated to our homes, many did not have the privilege of that choice. And hard choices and hard realities have played out and are continuing to play out across the city. And so we'll likely see the impacts for some time. But I'm glad that we're taking some first steps on some investments today. I want to be clear too that Portland was already facing a housing crisis and other disparities for our vulnerable communities well before this pandemic hit. And what COVID did was just to exacerbate the multiple racial and economic disparities and crises beyond what anyone could ever have imagined. This was our worst case scenario. So fast forward to about 6 weeks ago when our budget reconciliation process was revealed that we had these additional resources. And here we are with an opportunity before us to respond to a greater degree to multiple crises and needs. And I'm voting in support of these investments because we are responding to these needs by taking action today to do more. So for me, a yes vote means more coordination with Multnomah County and the Joint Office on multiple investments for our houseless neighbors, more housing and social service navigators working with our houseless neighbors, more resources for behavioral health and service provider workers who've been staffing this critical work. I appreciate the work of Mayor and Commissioner Ryan and their staff members and city staff and county leaders who came together to leverage and coordinate many of these investments. I also want to thank all the community groups and neighborhood groups and nonprofits and advocacy groups that have self-organized to help our vulnerable. We see you and we thank you for stepping up in some amazing ways. And on that same note, my office and I recognize that we can do and be better in bringing the most impacted community members better into these processes. Any bump process is speedy, and I'm committed to finding more ways to include those that cannot participate under traditional advocacy circumstances. The vote also means to me that we'll have more money to move us into alignment with the DOJ settlement demands. And it will also fund a much needed police bureau staffing study by Director Myers. And it also sets the stage to build out our PS3 officer program, those community safety personnel who are unarmed who can help to respond to non-emergency low acuity calls. This program still has much development to go under, but it's one of the pillars towards seeing change within the Bureau. And this vote also means we'll be releasing funds to finally expand Portland Street Response, something that we've all been waiting for. And I want to commend Commissioner Hardesty for her steadfast leadership on this issue. And finally, it also means more investment in parks in East County and other service area and PBOT infrastructure, and starts beginning investments in the critical climate work our community has long been calling for. So all of these investments move us towards a more accountable and responsible safety system that doesn't rely on centrally armed officers, but this budget doesn't solve everything. We need to focus on systemic inequities and problems, and there is so much more work to be done. But my goal and every vote I cast will be through this lens of community-centered work that better reflects and serves our values in the Portland that we are today. And despite the picture some may paint of where our city is, the truth is, while we have much work to do, we are also a resilient and thriving community that will overcome and evolve. And this council has committed to do that, and we will not push this responsibility aside. So again, I just want to appreciate all the work of the budget office, the mayor's staff, my council colleagues and their staffs, my own team, and the hundreds of community members who have called, emailed, met with us, and also testified. Your voices and ideas helped to shape this budget. Thank you all for caring so much about our city. So I stand with my colleagues today and all who love the city of Portland and are invested in this future in voting aye.